Hey guys, Voxel Pro here, coming at you with another unfocused rant, I guess. I mean, it's a little bit focused. I guess all my topics have been kind of focused. But, you know, I was watching an episode of Supergirl last night, because I'm recording this on a Tuesday, and listen, when people make these premises of shows and movies, you know, there's a certain logic that's in large part ignored. I don't know how to explain this. I guess, okay, I'm gonna tell you what happened in the episode, right? Spoiler alert for Supergirl. Well, it's not even a spoiler alert, I guess, because it was previewed the week before. So what happens? What the premise of the episode is that, you know, that is the refrigerator. If you hear that low hum in the background, because I can most certainly hear it. But what's going on is the aliens, right? Not the aliens in the city, the aliens from what's his name's old planet and his mom's, you know, the Daxamites, you know, they're coming on and invading the Earth. Okay? Now, if you instinctively know how you think this is gonna go, I mean, I hope I'm not giving any spoilers away, but spoiler alert, you know, incoming, I guess. You know, I'm gonna give a countdown before I give the spoiler. 3, 2, 1. If you're still here, it's your fault. Kind of like Chris Hardwick says. They fail. So I guess my thing is, when people create the premises of these like shows and movies that kind of has this similar premise to like the show or the episode or the movie, you know, these aliens are incoming or something like that, and they're here to take over the Earth. They taking your baby mamas, they snatching up your cousins, and you know, whatever else ungodly things that they're doing. Who knows, depending on what show you watch, it might get real drastic with the alien actions, you know, because you know violation. Yeah. So I couldn't think of another way to say that, you know, to sound clean, you know. So violation, we're gonna go with that. So there's a lot of premises like that, right? And they range from kid shows to more mature movies, and it's always the same. It's always the same predicament. It's always this whole fleet, you know, comes from outer space, from like the void of nowhere, you know, and like interstellarly travel through some type of portal that you know hid somewhere. I don't know, somebody on the inside got them to create it for them or something. I don't know, something, you know. And they fail every single movie, every single time, and the conflict is too short. The best I've ever seen it, something to where is this type of premise to where they take over the whole earth, has to be Fallen Skies. You know, that show with Noah Wiley. It was on TNT for like a while, you know. The dude who used to be on ER, but now he was in the Librarian movies, and he's on that Librarian show, you know, where he's a librarian, but somehow he deals with like the ancient metaphysical supernatural mysteries of the universe and of the earth, I guess. I don't think there's any aliens, but, you know, more or less it's like vampires. You know, Stana was on there on the like in one of the movies, you know, to where she was like a vampire. And then, you know, Stana is the lady from Castle. She's Beckett. She's the one that plays Beckett. But yeah, so in Fallen Skies, it actually draws the whole thing out. Like, you see people die. But here's my main point of contention, even with that show. Even with movies like Independence Day, no matter if you're talking about the first or second one, or if you're talking about something like the first Avengers movie, the Marvel Avengers, not the super secret spy one that nobody really knows about. And then and then this latest episode of Supergirl, you know, just my whole point of contention with all those movies and every movie like them, why they fail, is because canonically wise, for all the aliens who are so ahead of their time with their technology and their strategy, they just suck as strategizing. They suck, period. They suck. They can't do it. They don't know how to finish their goal. You know, they set their goals low, and I think that's what they set their goals high, but they work too low. You know, I think that's what the problem is. Take all those movies I said. What's the one thing that they do? The aliens decide to do. They decide to attack a particular city. You know, they decide to attack a particular city, and you know what? And that might work if it was like. That would work if it was like a small town, and I would just take all, like, if I was them, right? And it was like, and I wanted them to be successful at it, and of course you can't have this because allegorically wise, you know, they have to have the good guys win, you know. But I'm just saying for like strategery's sake, you know, I would attack all the towns like in the middle of nowhere, you know, so the take over like the land, you know, possess the land first, you know, that way they have a base of operations on Earth, right? And so that they can slowly, like, you know, they can slowly like say, oh, hey, this is where we are. We're in the middle of nowhere. We can operate in secret. That's one of the things. But no, these people gotta invade like New York City or some junk, you know, or some junk like that, you know. And the problem with that is that even while you're causing mass damage, you know, crashing like stuff, shooting beams into the buildings, you know, crashing stuff into the ground at ground level, breaking up concrete and shooting death beams out of their eyes and whatever junk have you, they still decide to attack a major popular area. They don't do any recon first. They don't say how many people are on this earth. What is the, like, is there sections on this earth to where they might operate differently? They don't do any recon. They don't do any research. They don't gauge their weapons. You know, I mean, for for the fictional purposes of saying that the alien race is supposed to be so advanced in their technology and their thinking and their ways are like supersedes how humans think by like such a large margin, they get their tails kicked every time. I'm just saying. How does this happen? They you know what I think it is they come in like a quarter force, you know? They have to. They come in at a quarter force, like, and attack these major cities, and what happens is, you know, I guess they get kicked back to their planets, you know, and the reason why that happens is that they usually underestimate who's there at the time. There's usually some other aliens defending it. In the Supergirl's case, you know, if you're talking about the Justice League case, but they don't send enough people. They don't send enough people. In the Avengers movie, the Chitauri or whatever it was, you know, whoever they were, they decide to attack New York City. And who was fighting at that time? Maybe seven people. I didn't count them all. This is just off the top of my head. You got Iron Man, Hawkeye, the Hulk, which take pretty much everybody down. Let's see, Iron Man, Hawkeye, you know, the Black Widow, the Hulk, Captain America, Thor. Am I missing somebody? So 6 people. You know, 6 people. You know, first off, 6 people, you know, and so I was off by 1, but they didn't come in blasting, like, you know, blasting all the tanks. There wasn't the American army that sent tanks into the city just to blow up these dudes. They sent in the Air Force. But at the last second, though, they sent in the Air Force at the last second to, like, nuke New York City or something like that. I can't remember. Or did they mean to send it up and one of the things failed on the whatchamacallit? But the fact that even with the Earth's lowered defenses and not sending in tanks and stuff like that, they still should have been able to demolish them. If you wanted to take over the Earth, you know what? You should have just went to where the people, like, weren't as heavily fortified. Like, and why did they always attack one city at a time? They should be, like, if you're coming from the opposite side of the galaxy, and you know, like, they have, like, a lore of, like, these aliens have a lore of, like, taking over other planets or some such things, right? Then you would think that they would want to attack all the Earth all at once. You know, Chicago, London, France, you know, Africa, Antarctica, if they're, you know, their villages down there, you know, Alaska, California. That's where, you know, where all the, like, the charismatic people are. Attack them. Take over the stations. You know, shoot the beams to, like, destroy the, like, every news station, like, except for one, so you can, like, win over the hearts and minds, I guess. Now, I'm not saying take over the Earth. I hope nobody's planning to take over the Earth, because I guess, you know, people can be crazy these days. But I'm just saying, in terms of, like, movie and story-wise, these aliens aren't smart. And if I can think of it, I'm sure they could think of it. You know, but the scale, when you talk about the alien invasion, the scale has to be so huge that it would have to span across, like, several movies or the whole thing before you can actually get to, like, being better, you know? Like, if Fallen Skies, like, had, like, a sequel project, like a sequel series, it would be like, I don't know. It would have to be some junk like, oh, hey, now we gotta rebuild. But that's what the last episode was about. you know, and I think some humans and stuff like that, they kind of had refuge amongst Earth, you know, and then all the people Earth, you know, they only made references to like somewhere, and I want to say Central America or Mexico, or it might have been South America. I'm not sure where it was. They had like towards the end of the series of Fallen Skies, they had some reference to where they did this like John Connor type of thing to where he was radioing people, and they were fighting, you know, whatchamacallits and the aliens in some other country that wasn't America, that wasn't the United States, I should say. But yeah, they you know, I understand for movie's sake they only get to attack one place. You know, in the case of like Independence Day, like 2, I think they failed heavily. They did fail heavily because it was showing shots from like Africa, from like space, or like whatever the case was, and they had that plan set, and they was about to take over the region, and they should have attacked all those places at once, and they were about to win had the thing not crashed into the thing. And I would have just said, you know, if you're the queen of that like hive or whatever it was, I'd have been like, you know what, attack these. You got to be strategic about your picks, about like who you're like who you're gonna like bump off, you know. Take out the bases, take out their strength, then cut them out from underneath their knees. I don't know. Maybe in my past life I was a general or something. I don't know. I'm just being stupid. No, but that's the problem with all the premises like that. They attack one city, and somehow against all odds they're able to like, I guess, stop the aliens, even with their lowered defenses, even with not sending in tanks, even with not sending in fighter jets at times, you know, even without like the military rolling up on the, and so like local police enforcement and whatever like doofus with like a pitchfork and like a shovel could like bash on the back of their heads in the hopes that they don't get exploded by a laser, because you know it will probably like gooify them like something in like Fallout 4 or something. I'm just saying, it just doesn't work. Like, you know, their military strength is far more than the like writers say it is, and that's why comic books is like probably a lot more believable with the outcome in that particular situation. Like, you're gonna see, well, I don't know, even that's spotty, because depending on who you talk to, is like, you know, depending on who you talk, I like it, for one movie, I just want to see it where the bad guys win. You know, just one movie, I want to see it where the bad guys win, because I know they can do it. You know, come on. It's like Tom and Jerry. You honestly expect me to believe that cat can never catch that mouse? Go on to YouTube all the time. You can search in cat kills mouse. They catch them every time. And they're biting off and they're nibbling on the heads and everything. You want to expect me to believe that Sylvester can never catch Twiggy? That Tom can never catch Jerry? You want to expect me to believe all that? And then when they send in the aliens that have conquered planets, by lore standards and canonically speaking, they've conquered other planets and destroyed whole civilizations. You want to expect me to believe they can't take over New York City? How real is that? I'm just saying. It doesn't make something. There's a disconnect right here. Either the planets they were attacking were like backwater planets to where, like, you know, there was like a village of like 15 people like every 20 miles, or I don't know, or, you know, their military is exactly that strong. I don't know. I don't know. That's why certain elements of science fiction remains fiction, because logically certain stuff doesn't make any sense. Even not just in terms of technology, but story-wise. And that's not always a story type of thing. Like I don't know. Like, okay, even in Terminator, they did it right. You know? Even they were in the middle of the desert and had to form a resistance. At this point in time, Skynet had taken over the region. Just like unapologetically just like took over the earth. There was like maybe like 20 people, and they was hurting the people in. I don't know if you guys ever seen Terminator Salvation, but that's the one that I feel like if there was ever a time to where there was like some type of alien or some type of robots or some type of, you know, things that weren't human that was gonna take over the planet, that story did it right, because they took away their hope. Everywhere was a desert. You know, they was hurting in, you know, human slave labor by the hundreds and dozens of hundreds, you know, and they were patrolling, and they blew up bases and everything. They killed leaders and key people. They did it all. They did it all. They left nothing but dust and dirt in their trails, and they left nothing but death and destruction in their wake. People didn't know how to eat. They was surviving off of, you know, fermented peach cans is what they were doing. That's exactly what they were doing, and they were being hunted. They hadn't taken a shower in days, months, and weeks. They were stinking up the joint. They did it, like Terminator Salvation, they did it right. They ain't have no toothpaste. They went back to medieval times on that one. That's how much they destroyed. They destroyed their whole way of life. They couldn't bathe. They was just stinking all the time. There was just random dead bodies on the side of the road. You know, there was just ruins of like current day high towers. You know, they did an excellent job. They was herding in, you know, like they was herding in people. Didn't matter. They was about to face execution and about to, you know, they fully automated, you know, Skynet, you know. They did something right. They did it right. I don't even care. You know, but that last one, that last Terminator, they, you know, it was just whatever. But you know what? That's it. Yeah, subscribe to Voxel Pro if you want to. Leave a comment if you want to. That would be great. That would help me out a lot to see what I could do to better this channel. Alright, I'll see you guys in the next rant. See ya.